So just like the humans, right? Just like the humans who basically have a natural intelligence, the ability to do things without just being, memorized everything and the steps are basically given. We humans have a natural instinct or a natural ability to understand and deploy things or basically do things in their daily life and all the things we do without being taught step by step. The same way, if I want to make a machine, if I want to make a computer or machine to do things without being programmed line by line, is basically what we call as a artificial intelligence, right? And obviously machine learning is basically a subcategory of AI. Like most people have a thought process that machine learning is the only kind of AI. Machine learning is just a way for bringing up the AI. We have different other things like like we have different other things are there other than machine learning is in the market. So like for example, we have this decision trees, we have this new like statistical model, a lot of things are there. But one, so first of all, I want to give you an idea about what exactly is the structure of an AI tool, or when talking about the AI, what is the building blocks of an AI. Okay, then I'll come to the governance part of it. Okay, so when you talk about the AI, okay, it's not just about one particular tool. Any tool we talk about, when we talk about the word called as AI, what exactly is AI? AI is everywhere now, right? So you see, you hear this word everywhere. AI is everywhere. You see AI in, IT. You see AI in healthcare. Or you see AI in cars. You see AI everywhere now, right? And everybody is using this ChatGPT, Gemini, and stuff like that, right? So everyone is familiar with this term. So what is it made of actually? So an AI is basically made of four components primarily, though like it have a lot of the flexible definitions there. But primarily when talking about AI, the AI is basically made of four components. Okay, first of all, we have something called as a data. Okay, data. Then we have something called as an algorithm. Then we have something called as a compute, and then we have something called as a human expertise. Okay, data, algorithms, compute, and human expertise. I'm going to explain about one by one, and then we'll discuss about the machine learning part of it. Okay. So when talking about the AI, okay, so the one major thing you will hear this AI is basically called as a model, right? So first of all, let's learn about the, like, let's have a simple comparison there. So when talking about this AI, you see that like now like let's take an example of a kid. Okay, a small kid who is basically learning things. Okay, assume a scenario where there is a teacher. Okay, there is a teacher who basically teach the kid, okay, based on books, articles, videos, and a lot of things like that. That materials that the kid uses to learn is basically what we call as a data. The materials that the kid uses to learn is basically what we call as a data, right? Like the same way, the algorithm, okay, algorithm is basically a set of instructions, or we can say it's a set of step-by-step instructions on a way or how to process a data or make decisions. It's a logic. Okay, algorithms is basically a logic. Like when we basically train, it's like a brain, it's like a brain of a kid. Okay, so what happens, team, when you basically input a lot of data, when you basically teach a kid well, what will happen at the end of the day? The kid will basically learn stuff. He will basically learn about the various concepts, various foundation principles and all things like that. And at the end, that person is able to make decisions, or he's able to do things. He's able to think about that. He's able to creatively or intellectually make decisions or do new stuff without being taught step by step, line by line, right? So how is it possible? So that is possible with this data. So we basically have a data which we are basically training to this algorithm, and that is basically what now becomes a AI model. Okay, that basically becomes a AI model. So for example, now what is a machine learning then? So machine learning means that this learning process, so teaching the particular algorithm with the particular data is basically what we, that process is what we call as a machine learning. Okay, so you want to make a machine intelligent, so you basically make them learn things based on some sort of data, and that process is what we call as a machine learning. Okay, so we have a data which act as the inputs like materials or data or pictures, videos, articles, and millions or trillions of things which we input to a model or to an algorithm. And algorithm is the logic or brain of the particular AI, which basically will go through all those things and connect the dots. Like for example, in our human brain we have neurons, right? So basically what those neurons will do, So they basically help us to connect the ideas and learn, right? It basically learn. Okay, you don't basically learn just the data, you basically just make it the information in your brain, right? Like the same way, this algorithm will learn from the data and it becomes a model, which we like GPT, like Neo, Gemini, a lot of things are there, right? And then what is a compute? So if you want to basically run this particular algorithm, like for example, you need a lot of amount of CPU capacity, you need a huge amount of memory capacity, you need a huge amount of uh, data, you need a huge amount of storage capacity, right? So for all these things, the infrastructure which we need is basically what we call as a compute. It's like a that kid's body which basically needs the energy, right? So basically it's the compute is the underlying infrastructure, right? Which basically helps us to train the model and make it do things without being explicitly programmed. And finally, we should basically have a human expertise. There should be someone who tell the model how to do things initially, right? Like what to think, what kind of data to input, like how it performs. Like there should be someone to supervise this. That teacher is basically the humans we are having here, right? So these are the four building blocks of a AI. In fact, this is basically what you see in every AI in the modern world. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, first question is that, Krish, why this course or why we need to basically learn about something called as a AI governance? Okay, let me give an example, team. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, I just got a very good example. I got a very good, idea from Keshava. So, team, what he said is face recognition, right? So now it's a simple thing, right? So basically, you just take your iPhone, you take your Android phone, you just swipe, and it's immediately recognize your face, and it unlocks your phone. That feels so comfortable, right? So how is it possible? They basically understand the patterns of your face, and basically based on that patterns, they will be able to identify you and help you to unlock your mobile phone, right? But this is fine. On your mobile phone, it's perfectly fine. It's basically not something serious, right? That helps you to make it convenient. Instead of typing the password, instead of typing the PIN number, instead of writing the pattern, you can just show your face and your mobile phone simply opens. That's a great thing, right? What if I use the same face ID? What if I use the same facial recognition? Okay, what if it's used by some government agencies, or what if it's used by someone to completely, keep you in surveillance, to identify you in everything you do? What if there is someone who basically always watch you, identify you in everywhere? Is that a good thing you like? See, it affects your privacy, right? So it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. It's a face ID, it's a face recognition. But in mobile phone, it's completely fine. But when it comes to public policing, when it comes to moral policing, when it comes to things like that, you have a concern about the privacy, right? Like the same way, think about an AI which is basically used for suggesting you the next movie to watch on Netflix, or think about an AI which is basically used for, suggesting what to shop, the shopping site, and things like that. It becomes so convenient, right? And what if the same AI, or what if the AI is used for diagnosing diseases? What if the AI is used for screening your resume? What if your AI is used for basically like approving your loan application in your bank? Like this, there can be hundreds of scenarios, right? Is the risk of AI the same thing everywhere? What we discussed now? No, right? The AI risk is basically spread across different aspects, right? For each different things we have different levels of risk. Some can be life threatening, some can be very simple, nothing to impact. For example, will you basically drive a self-driving car? Will you basically sit inside a self-driving car which is going 100 kilometers per hour? Okay, without and you basically know that is an AI model which is deployed there. Are you 100% confident or 100% fine with sitting in a car which is basically, completely driven by AI? Means I'm sure that it's basically there in many countries now, but I'm just giving an examples. No, right? How much comfortable you are? What if there is a AI robot is basically performing a surgery for you without any human interaction? See, you have a fear there, right? What if there is you apply for a loan, you apply for some, you apply for a leave, and your company is watching you all the time? See, That means that there is a lot of risk involved in this AI. Starting from the whole process, there is a lot of risk involved in the AI, right? That means from the point of selecting something, okay, from the point you're selecting the data to train, from the point it's developed, it's tested, it's deployed, then it's post monitored. So for all these things, if I don't have a proper visibility, if I don't have a proper process there, that can lead to serious damages, serious trouble, right? And AI governance, okay, and AI governance is the process to ensure these this particular challenge is specifically addressed. Okay, so it's basically a process. Okay, it's basically a process that ensures that the AI system you're developing or deploying, what is it developing? You create your own AI system, or what is it deploying? You basically get an AI system which is developed by someone else. Okay, so an AI system which is developing or deploying or doing things. So they are managed in a responsible, ethical, and compliance manner, right? In simple words, it's how the organizations can basically make a AI trustworthy, a responsible, and safe and compliant, right? So let me give an example, team. So if an AI make a wrong decision, who is accountable? You can't blame the AI model. This is basically because of this AI model. You can't file a complaint against the AI model, right? So there should be an accountability there. In AI, basically, you should have an accountability. Who is responsible if an AI make a wrong decision? Like for example, if there is an AI model reject your loan application, who will basically take the responsibility there? And if there is something like that, how do you know how they made the decision? So you apply for something, they simply reject it. I just want to know the reason for it, right, like that. And also, how do I know that it's only supporting a particular kind of people, right? Like this, AI have a lot of challenges there, which needs to have a proper visibility and human interaction. That is basically where we have the process called as AI governance. It's a process by which you ensure the entire AI systems are developed and deployed and managed responsibly, ethically, and in compliance with the laws and standards. Okay. Now it's not just this. There's a lot of things in this. Okay. I can give you a few more things. When talking about the AI, just if you are feeling like Krish, will they cause some damage to us? Okay. See, an AI system can cause harms in various levels. Actually, I can say. To make it simple, if you basically go for an AI system, it can basically cause harm in various manners. For example, let's say team. Now, let's take an example. Okay, so for example, let's take an example of a people, just individuals like me and you. Okay, so what happens, like I said, you like I told you before, like if you apply for a loan and basically reject your loan application, and what if there is a medical diagnostic tool which will basically misclassify or identify a disease? Okay, what if basically a face ID is showing the police that there is a that person is suspect, like that? Okay, and I can give you many much more examples on this team. So AI is something which basically have a lot of threats. To make it simple, in a personal level, it can basically cause a lot of trouble. Okay, in fact, I can just show you an example for a news which I just shared with one of my students today. See, it's a few days back news. See, just think about this: a student handcuffed after Doritos bag mistaken for a gun by a school's AI security system. Is it a simple thing? Do you think it's a simple thing? A student was basically handcuffed because that AI has done something mistakenly. Like I'm just giving an example there. So, like this, there can be hundreds of harms which can happen, right? So, basically, in a personal level, okay, if it be like, for example, let's say now a few years back, like one of the top companies in the world. So, basically, they have developed an AI system for screening the resumes and going to a second level. So basically, it's a massive company which is currently in news for a long lot of things. I don't want to say the name of the company, but still, they basically yeah, coming up managing that. So basically, what they done was they made a hiring AI system. Okay, and the problem was the hiring AI system was consistently, you know. Rejecting all the application coming from people, women. Just think about that. The AI tool was completely rejecting any resume application coming from women is completely rejected, and it's only accepting applications from men. It was deprecated, and now like in fact that company has came up with the apologies and all. That's a different story. Like that, what if basically okay they create stereotypes? Okay, that's a harm to groups. What if it can harm the society? So for example, now there, let's say for example, now in India there is a lot of election things are going to happen, right? So what if we use a lot of deep fake videos to spread misinformation? Already people believe a lot, right? Especially like in the COVID times, we have seen that people believe a lot of things from those WhatsApp universities and all, right? So what happens is that, what if we basically, the AI is used for creating deep fake videos or deep fake news and all these things, which confuse or which manipulate people's mindset, right? What if it can affect the business? Like for example, let's say you basically work as a part of an organization, and due to which, and if an AI model has made something, or if it affected a, like for example now, uh, LinkedIn has basically used the customer's data for secondary purpose, like they use the data for training the AI models like that. So what if basically there is something happens, and it cause a lawsuit to the company, or it can basically cause a lot of company damage. And this ecosystem damage is basically very high in AI. So for example, just think about this. Now when you basically make queries in ChatGPT or Gemini or etc., it's creating a lot of trouble. Like it's consuming a huge amount of water, it's creating, or it's emitting a lot of gases, it's making a lot of trouble to the environment as well. So like this, AI can cause a lot of harms. But even though we're not able to solve everything of it, what is the major one reason behind it? There is a lot of reasons for sure. I can give you one major reason behind it. Okay. So, team, what happens if you train, or if you basically teach a kid things wrong? Like, for example, you basically are teaching a kid, and you basically teach him everything wrong. What will happen? So his thought process, his mindset, what he do, everything will be wrong, right? The same happens when you basically train an algorithm with a data. If the data is biased, that means, if the data is biased means that if this basically not like representing the whole community, or if the data is not sufficient enough, or if the data is basically not properly according to the need, like that, if the data is biased, or if the data is incorrect, or if something happens, if you basically give it to the algorithm, what will happen? The output you're getting also will be wrong. This is what we call as garbage in, garbage out. If you basically train with garbage, you will get garbage. So, like the same way, if you train with wrong damage, if you train wrong data, if you train with the biased data, if you train with things like that, obviously it will cause that algorithm to learn things wrong. See, in that example I told you about, that women getting rejected because of that for that job application, right? Do you know what happened there? The company who trained that particular AI model with the data, they focused more on resumes from men. It's not intentional, actually. It's not intentional. So that company was training that AI model with some millions of resumes, but most of the resumes they have given as an input to the AI model was male candidates. And what happened there? So the AI model assumed that when there is a resume coming in, it should be a male candidate. It's not, we can't complain that, right? We can't complain the model done this. It's because of the data was biased. So, for example, let's say now I am developing an AI model which basically suggests the diet, or maybe some medicines, etc., for, or nutritional medicines for people, and I train based on people from one country or one particular location. And what if I use the same thing on different location? It won't be able to perform well, right? So, for example, let's say if I basically go for training a data, or if I go for training model from data from particular country, when it works in another country, it won't work well. So think about this, team. Can you basically think about using that autopilot, the Tesla auto car, or basically that autopilot stuff kind of things, that autonomous cars, in Indian terrain conditions currently? Like for example, they have developed a self-driving cars there, which can be used in certain countries. And can you think about that in certain countries now? No, right? Why? Because it is not trained according to the proper conditions there. So when talking about the AI should be basically, the data is one major thing about it. So starting from the collection of data to cleaning the data, there's a word called as data cleaning. Okay, to cleaning the data, to organizing the data, to ensuring the amount of data, to properly selecting the algorithm which you have to use for your purpose. We have different type of algorithm, and so teaching the algorithm based on that purpose, then testing the model to see if the model is performing well, and to deploy the model aligning with all the laws and regulations to ensure that it's continuously performing well, and after a long time it's not drifting away, or it's not uh, getting deprecated, or maybe like like it's basically not having any trouble there. So for all these things there should be a human visibility, there should be oversight, and that whole process which basically help us to bring this entire end-to-end visibility and architecture is what we call as the AI governance, to ensure that the AI is working as per your business requirements, to ensure that I want to make sure that it's not affecting any it's not causing any harms to the society or people or anyone. It's basically working as per the requirements. For all these things we need to have a proper and effective AI governance framework. And the goal of the this particular program, the certified AI governance specialist program, is to bring you with all these things you see here, to basically make you understand what is the AI, what are the different type of AI systems, to how the data should be collected, what things we have to keep in mind when talking about data, for risk management of AI, monitoring of AI, this whole process. Okay, you should basically have a visibility, and that's the primary goal of this particular program. Now, talking about the laws and frameworks and all. See, even though it's evolving, to make it simple, AI is changing every day, and the laws and regulations are now evolving. For example, now we in Europe we have something called as a GDPR, right? Which is basically one of the best privacy laws in the world, right? So the Europe has basically come up with what? The EU AI Act, right? Then, like this, basically for several countries, we have different, like for South Korea's, for India, for Australia, for different countries, we have different laws, which is already there, which is basically coming up, which is basically getting optimized. So things are happening like that, right? So as a AI governance expert, you should be having an awareness of the various principles we have to follow, or which can help us in have a responsible AI, to be aware of the various frameworks which can help us in building this AI governance or a proper responsible AI in our company, to understand various laws and regulations applicable. There should be a proper knowledge about all these things. And that is also one thing you will get from this particular program. Okay. And I can just give you a brief of what you'll get, team. So this is basically what you have to expect from this program. Okay. So first of all, you will basically get an understanding of how to do a real world implementation. So team, don't confuse when I talk about implementation, don't feel like I'm talking about configuring some AI model inside the computer. So I'm talking about how can I basically bring an AI model to our business. Okay, there's a whole process there, starting from the data selection, design, and a lot of. So that is basically what you one thing you will get. And to ensure that when talking about AI, so people ask me, Krish, are you saying that AI is completely something which we are bringing new and separate? No, whatever compliance frameworks you are having, like what, let's say you are complying with the ISO 27001, you are complying with the AICPA, you are complying with various frameworks and standards. How do we basically align that with the AI things as well? How do I basically ensure that if I'm using an AI tool from a third party vendor, how can basically it can be used in a more effective manner? Then how can basically different teams collaborate each other to make sure that we have a proper responsible AI for our business? How do I basically write policies for this AI, or how can I basically make it to a practical thing, like what is a model card, what is a risk assessment, what is AI impact assessment, what is data lineage, like the whole process like this. And how to do a assessment for AI, how to basically understand if something goes wrong, what is a way to respond to the incident like this. You will get a detailed idea regarding all these aspects. So even though it's not possible to explain it according to every company's every use case perspective, but when you basically start using adopting AI in a company, this act as a foundation for you. From here you have to build things, because like if you basically talk about, Krish, is it possible for me to basically implement end-to-end AI in architecture in every company by learning this? No, this is not in that perspective. This is basically something which will help you as a foundation, from where you can basically build on top of it. Okay, because the risk levels, the type of AI utilization, everything is varying according to the different organizations. Okay, now There is a few more things which we have to keep in mind on this team. So this program is not talking about one particular, like a particular AI tool or configuring the AI tool. This is basically about the whole governance process there. In fact, if you are a person who basically from a governance background or management background, see, this is basically the target audience for this. If you basically working in the IT security, or you're a cloud security professional, security architects, or GRC experts, so risk manager experts, auditors, if you are data scientists, if you are a technology leaders. So for all these people to adopt this AI model, this one training can basically help you with all those things. This is not pointing towards one particular certification training program. This is a specific program by InfosecTrain, but this program will also help you to uh, prepare for multiple certifications as well. Though we are not emphasizing that as a particular part of it, but it's basically possible for you to basically understand and cover up a lot of areas from various certification programs you can have. And this program expect you to have no prerequisite, like do you know you don't have to have an AI background, you don't have to have any of those things. If you basically are any of these, or if you're basically enthusiastic about the AI implementations, then this is basically for you. This does not need any programming knowledge. Obviously, this is purely about the whole process, like that. So we totally have total 14 modules there. Okay, so I'll just walk you through that once. Okay, so this program is basically having 14 modules starting from the foundation of AI. Here you will learn about the what is an AI, types of AI, and how the AI, what are the building blocks of an AI, and what is a modern, like this agentic AI, Gen AI, and all those things. You will learn about this. Then you will learn about what is this concept of responsible AI. That itself is the most critical part of this team. You should know about the reasons why we need to basically go for a responsible and ethical AI, that you will learn from this. Then it will basically go to the various laws and regulations applicable. So basically, you'll understand what is the FOOT 2001, various principles and other things in a high level, which will give you an idea regarding how can we basically adopt this for our organization. Then we'll talk about the governance aspects, like what do you mean by trustworthy AI? How can I basically align my business objectives? How do I select an AI model tomorrow? If your business want to do or go for a AI, how do I basically start? Where do I start? How do I get that? That basically you learn about this. And then you learn about the architecture of AI, including the various components and how it works in cloud as well. And then you'll learn about the different type of AI models in detail regarding how to do a model evaluation. Like before we onboard a model, we have a lot of process we have to follow, that you learn for sure. Then you learn about the step-by-step process on doing a risk assessment for a AI, including some use cases. And then we'll discuss about data. Obviously, data is the most important component. You will learn about the data as well. Okay. And what is privacy, what is the privacy concerns we are having, and what is the process of testing an AI model, what is the criteria we have to use for testing an AI model, and how can cloud help you basically in hosting this AI or work with the AI, and what factors we have to keep in mind when it comes to the cloud based AI and the various security controls we can use. Then we'll talk about how to have a visibility or assess the AI systems and if it's working properly as expected. And finally, we'll talk about the SDLC process, the software development lifecycle process, and how it can basically work with the AI stuff. Okay, this whole training is basically meant for 40 hours. Okay, which covers extensively all the contents which is mentioned here. And obviously, see, more than just the training part, it's more about a discussion is going to happen, team. And obviously, normally in most of the cases, what I get is always people from different backgrounds, and obviously that team discussions can help you a lot as well. Okay.